Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
FightSaga.com presents WAWR Week Radio Chats with boxing scribe Joseph Heron.
Hey guys, I tell you what, a glorious Monday evening it is, and I tell you what, it's one of the first evenings in the San Antonio area that it feels really wonderful to sit outside. So I set up my mic, I set up my computer out on my patio, and I'm conducting the show this evening outside, looking up at the beautiful San Antonio sky, and wishing all of you guys a very wonderful Monday evening. I tell you what, guys, it's a good day to be a boxing fan, despite all of the gloom and doom that we heard last night from Coach James Gogi. And if you guys haven't heard yet, well, the Gogi good news of the day, it's still up on the YouTube. You guys can check that out. And it's always so much fun to visit with the 5-decade fight trainer, and we're all the better for it. And, as long as I've been in this business, I still learn an awful lot just by chatting with with Maestro James Gogi. It's outstanding, guys. I tell you what, though, let's and once again, guys, I dropped the StreamYard link in case you guys want to join me live on the air. We can talk about anything you'd like, but I tell you what, let's say hello before we introduce our first guest of the evening. Let's say hello to a couple of gentlemen in the chat, as well as a beautiful young lady. Truth Bomb, welcome to the show, stars. It's clout chasing on the grandest scale. Well, we're going to address that, brother. And I'll tell you the truth of the business. I'll pull back the curtain and let you know that, well, whenever you call out a fighter, it's pretty much all clout chasing. You're throwing things out into the media. I'll go into it in just a bit. Want to recognize the lovely Miss Barbara Choice. Thank you for joining us. Salute to you, sister. And also our brother, Issy W.A.W. What's up, Joe? Couldn't be a better evening in the gym on the heavy bag listening to WAWR Week. Thank you for grinding away and listening to us, well, chop it up about your beloved boxing, brother. It's the sport of kings as far as I'm concerned. Also, my brother, Frank Bay. Hey, careful, Joe. Lots of Jake Paul trolls out tonight. Well, I guarantee you they won't be listening to this show. Because if you're, and once again, I brag about you guys all the time. I insist that our audience is among the most intelligent of the YouTube boxing community. And that's why, I want to thank you guys for always joining us and always supporting the show, as well as Coach Ronnie Shields and Coach Gogi. At this time, guys, I would like to introduce and welcome my brother Nate to the program. Nate, how are you doing, sir?
As long as we get great fights, I'm doing great.
Well, I tell you what, brother, we've got a couple great ones on tap. Not so much of a great matchup, in my opinion. This one's a mismatch coming up on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be on DAZN, and I'm talking about the DAZN coverage in the States, not in the UK. That's actually a pretty evenly matched but regional fight card. That Eddie, and once again, Eddie Hearn is a tremendous promoter in the UK, right?
I agree.
In the States, well, he's still learning the market. Give him some time. But I tell you what, Virgil Ortiz versus Michael McKinson. How do you feel about that one, Big Nate?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it because, Virgil Ortiz, he's a very entertaining fighter. He's an intelligent pressure fighter. He fights behind a really good guard. He seeks and destroy your guard by picking and prodding at it, working in your body with good jabs and hooks, and taking over that distance control by using his lead foot to give you a lot of false steps and a lot of false deceptions of he's closer than you think he is, and you're trying to punch him. Then before you know it, he's parrying your shot or he's sidestepping it and coming in with hooks, pivoting. So, and he's just working your body until you drop your hands. Then he's hitting you with them real strong straight rights, left hooks up top of your head, and he's very strong and powerful and aggressive. So, yeah, I just think McKenna doesn't have anything to keep Virgil off him unless his footwork is supreme. Unless his footwork is better than what he showed in his last fight. He didn't look too good.
Well, look, and you shouldn't look at the last fight, Nate, because McKinson was forced to take the lead. He was in against another boxer puncher, a guy who was a counter puncher as well.
You were right.
Because he was the A side in the matchup, right? He was the marquee guy in the matchup. Not that he's a big name in the States, but on the card, once again, it was an Eddie Hearn card, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah, I guess.
And so he was the A side, and so it was the onus was on him to force the action. That's why he didn't look so good. This guy has very good footwork. He's a very good boxer puncher, but guys, he makes Paulie Malignaggi look like Randall Bailey. He couldn't punch himself. He couldn't punch himself out of a paper bag. If you get stopped by him, well, you need to question yourself as a professional in this sport. Okay, once again, even with 10-ounce gloves or 8-ounce gloves, this guy, he couldn't crack an egg. Guys, at this time, 22-0 with 2 knockouts. Woo, boy. Can't wait to see this fight. Now, once again, to give you guys an indication, and we're about to welcome my brother Boxing Source on the show, but before we move forward, guys, if you're wondering ever, and this is why we always recommend looking at the odds, if you're wondering whether or not this is a 50-50 fight or not. Guys, do you realize how much Virgil Ortiz is favored? Okay, the odds. He is a minus 1,800. He's an 18-1 betting favorite going into this.
Wow.
Michael McKinson is sitting at a not so competitive plus 800 or an 8-1 betting underdog. That says it all, guys. That says it all. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce my brother, James from the Boxing Source. Thank you so much, brother. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Joseph? What's going on, Nate? Just checking in here. You're just talking about the upcoming bout between Virgil Ortiz and Michael McKinson. I think the biggest challenge for Virgil Ortiz for this is the weigh-in see if he makes 147 pounds. Outside of that, he shouldn't really have much of a problem against Michael McKinson.
That's a very astute observation, brother. And it's, once again, he is a biscuit shy of junior middleweight, isn't he? But this guy's a destroyer. And once again, everyone's talking about Jaron Ennis being the future of 147 and 54. But, guys, Virgil Ortiz, in the immortal words of Igas Kavalyaskes, he's got a more effective jab than Terrence Crawford. This is a guy who not only uses it as a sledgehammer to take the lead, but it's also very intelligent. He will keep a counterpuncher like Igas Kavalyaskes, off rhythm because he uses it sporadically in different intervals and he uses it in different areas with different amounts of torque. He'll push you with it and then he'll touch you with it and then he'll incorporate feints along with it. So you really don't know if you're a counterpuncher when he's going to get off. This is a problem. This is a problem for everyone at 47, including Jaron Ennis. Guys, this guy's a destroyer. 19-0 with 19 knockouts. Is that the record?
Yep. Yeah. No one's with
Virgil Ortiz is a bad dude. And he did not get that record by accident. Right? And so Boxing Source has the beat here. There's his biggest adversary this fight is himself, whether or not he can still make 147. I guarantee you he's going to show up to the events probably about 4 pounds overweight and try to actually lose it up until the weigh-in this Friday, right?
Yeah,
up to 4 pounds. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's my thing. I gotta understand something. Is there any possibility in the universe that McKinson pulls this off mainly because of the weight issue where Virgil's just so dry and draining it affects him? We've seen fights like that happen, but is it a possibility that he didn't learn from his mistake, and he actually got a nutritionist now?
Look, after his ailment, and once again, they're insisting to any media member that they've overcome this and it's just a thing of the past. But once again, we have to, as boxing fans, we like to kick the tires. We don't just rely on the eye test, right? Or just go by what a fighter or their team says to us. We have to see it to believe it. So once again, that's the primary issue that makes this as intriguing as it is, and we'll find out at the weigh-in. In my opinion, though, Virgil Ortiz is a professional. And because this isn't for a world title, yeah, you may see him come over 1 pound overweight because it's allowed. It's +1 if it's a non-title fight, right?
Yeah.
He's missed weight a couple times, though.
Yep. And you know what? Don't be shocked if he uses it again or misses it again. And it's neither here nor there. What is Michael McKinson going to do?
Right.
Is he going to walk off this big opportunity to become the mandatory challenger for Bud Crawford's belt?
Oh, I don't think he should.
No, he doesn't have any better opportunities in this. This is his big opportunity. And I tell you what, boy, he's going to have to be able to use all 20 feet of that ring on Saturday in order to have a chance. But once again, if you don't have anything to get the respect of a monster like Virgil Ortiz, boy, you've got nothing to keep him from walking through the front door. In other words, in the immortal words of Teddy Atlas, he's not going to be able to put bugs on the windshield. He can't. Okay, this is a guy who couldn't punch himself out of a paper bag. Okay, he is a lamb being led to the slaughter because Virgil Ortiz is a monster. He is the real deal. And Peter Von Arx, our brother, has the beat. Welcome to the show, sir. And he says, Virgil has a great jab and a lot of power to go with it. I like the kid. What's not to like, my brother? And Joey Chaz has the beat as well. Welcome to the show. He says, Virgil might be the next star at 47. He sells and is a draw. Well, I'll tell you what, he's a big draw in the DFW area. But outside of that, yeah, and that's a big problem moving forward. But look, say what you want. Golden Boy's doing the right thing. This is how you nurture and cultivate big attractions in boxing. You make them big ticket sellers in their home area, and then you move them across the country, right? Yeah. But does Virgil Ortiz have that X factor to attract mainstream and casual audience members?
Yeah, he does. I think with his entertaining, action-packed style and his knockout ratio, he can. And not only that, the cultural fan base that's around him, and plus the area. He's in an area where they love boxing. Not to mention he's a musician. So I think if you can kind of find a way to correlate that all together and mix it and just keep pushing that, he can. But the only thing he's missing is the names. He needs the names. That's the next thing. He needs the Crawfords. He needs the Spencers, the Boots. He needs Keith Thurmans. He needs those names, the Dennis Ugas. He needs those type of names. And I don't know if Golden Boy can get him those names unless he's a mandatory.
You're too astute for your own good, Nate. You're absolutely right, brother. And once again, that's a big problem moving forward because though as fractured as the sport is, unless you're a big ticket seller like Ryan Garcia, do you have any chance of putting together an interpromotional matchup, right? On DAZN? No, you don't. Okay, if he wants a shot at the title, okay, it's either going to have to be on DAZN or he's going to. Once again, his biggest opportunity, and he's praying right now. Damn, I hope Steven Espinosa doesn't concede, and doesn't give in to Terrence Crawford's absurd demands of $15 million, because I'm the next option. Terrence Crawford's going to come over to DAZN, and I'll fight him on my turf. That's it. Boxing Source, what say you, brother? What are your thoughts on the future of Virgil Ortiz? Should he actually get away from Golden Boy Promotions after his contract is up next year?
I think so. I know that, we talked about this with Golden Boy having their recent renewal with DAZN. But the thing about it is, like you were saying, they only have a certain amount of fighters within Golden Boy Promotions. And that's total. That's not just within the welterweight division. So that kind of like limits the amount of options that Virgil Ortiz Jr. has while he's with Golden Boy Promotions. So he's gonna have that option to where he's gonna, move forward and either become a free agent or sign with another promotional company. He gets this win over McKinson. He's the WBO mandatory challenger. We know that the last mandatory defense was last November, Crawford versus Porter. So that mandatory would be due if that particular fight that we've been talking about does not happen. Then the WBO would probably be pushed to make a mandatory order. So then that would be like, okay, if that happens, we know what the splits are for the WBO, unless if there's a special situation like with Crawford and Porter. So is Virgil Ortiz willing to have that type of split in order to have a shot for the WBO title against Terrence Crawford? Maybe.
No, of course they will. Of course they will. And once again, you know what? 70-25 is understandable. And once again, it's in accordance to the bylaws of the WBO, right?
Yep.
And so for that opportunity, yeah, of course he's going to take it. This is his big opportunity, but how much longer can he make 147? And that goes back to your original point source. How long can he make 47? How long can he stick around to get that opportunity? We'll see, guys. We'll see. But I tell you what, Joey Chaz, the bearer of good tidings always. He says, please don't mention Boots. He's not a draw or a star. Virgil is the A side. Look, brother, I'm going to break this to you, Joey Chaz. Last time he fought, we sent a guy, a representative of FightSaga.com, to cover the event, and no one showed up, brother. There were only about 4,000 plus in that big arena, right? So he's not the draw you think he is, not yet. But look, this is a perfect fight, in my opinion. And once again, we just saw this, and this is why I love Jose Zepeda versus Regis Vergarias. The reason why I love that fight is because there's only one way, guys. Promotions 101. Okay, let me educate you on the business. There's only one way to nurture or cultivate, okay, a big star when he's not a big ticket seller, when he's not a big marquee draw, when he's not a big ratings draw. There's only one way to do it. You've got to stick him in tough.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in my opinion, this is a perfect matchup for both Jose Zepeda as well as Regis Prograis. Like, they're not big draws. They're not big ticket sellers. They're men without a home, basically.
Yep.
And so the winner of this fight should actually increase his relative market value considerably. This is why this matchup is so brilliant, and I absolutely love it. So in my opinion, a fight at this time between Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, if they can't land a title shot, makes perfect sense.
Well, I'm going to tell you why it doesn't. Let me tell you why. I don't think it makes perfect sense because Boots is, 24, I think, or 25?
Yep.
And Virgil is 24, I think, or 25.
Yep.
So at this point, boxing is all about getting as much bang for your buck, especially now that a lot of boxing fans, the hardcore fans, there's not a lot of us. There's more casuals than hardcores. We see that now. So I think if that's what boxing, the business wants, they want to keep trying to stretch to the casuals, then they got to do
hold on, brother. I'm going to stop you right there because you mean to tell me there are more casuals than diehards right now? Now, once again, we're going to redefine this. What do you consider to be a casual?
Somebody that when there's a big fight, when the big fight is announced.
Okay, so I think you meant the other way around. Right now, and this is the problem with the business, it's filled with a ton of diehards who aren't spending money and financially supporting the sport any longer. That's the problem. There aren't enough casuals tuning into the sport.
Right.
Okay, because casuals actually spend money because they only focus on maybe between 3 and 5 fights per year.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like and so the demographic, right, that the business used to be able to rely on, like promoters and networks used to always say, well, that's all right. We always have the diehard demographic to fall on if need be. Well, they can't say that anymore.
Nope, they definitely
because they're streaming everything illegally, even DAZN. Like, look at their subscription numbers. They still have less than 1 million subscribers in the U.S. market. That's terrible. When you consider that ESPN Plus has over 12 million subscribers in the U.S. alone. DAZN has less than 1 million? Okay, so that's why you're seeing DAZN actually sell the next Canelo Triple G pay-per-view for $85 because they have no hope that it's gonna build or add to their subscriber base.
So what you're saying is the box business are aiming at the casuals because they're more willing to spend.
Of course, brother, and look, of course, Nate.
Yeah,
they're not even listening to you. They don't give a fuck what you think anymore. And look, anyone who's listened to this show for over a year, I warned you guys about this. I said, look, if you guys stop financially supporting the product, they're not going to listen to whatever you think or whatever you say.
Right. Yeah.
And it's happening now. They don't give. Why do you think there's so much emphasis on Jake Paul versus Hasim Rahman? These are two nobodies. Like, this shouldn't be a big story.
Yeah,
like this shouldn't be like this shouldn't even be a topic of discussion.
It shouldn't be,
but it is. It's one of the biggest stories right now circulating, surrounding the YouTube boxing community, and I'm asking why. Because it's of no consequence. It's of no consequence. And once again, why is everyone partaking in this rubbish of who's to blame? Who gives a shit? Guys, here's the reality of this. And several people close to the promotion have leaked this out to me. The reason why it was canceled, the real reason, because anytime you really want an event to follow through, to go through, to come to fruition, you make concessions. Get Hasim Rahman to make concessions. Say, okay, you're going to miss weight. That means you were contracted to make $250,000. I'm gonna take off $150,000 for you. But it's still going to be a career high payday for you at $100,000. How's that? Okay. Well, he had no intention of even doing that. And why? Because he's a novice promoter. Okay. He can't fill up Madison Square Garden, even with Amanda Serrano on the co-main event. Okay. He doesn't have the infrastructure in place to promote an event on his own. He needs a lead promoter, and that's not unusual. Okay, when Golden Boy, when they first embarked on their own, had their own promotional group, guess what? They still work with Top Rank and Bob Arum, and Bob Arum was still the lead promoter on the event. Just like when Floyd Mayweather Jr. embarked on his own and had Mayweather Promotions. They still work with Golden Boy, and Golden Boy was still the lead promoter on the event.
That's correct.
Guys, that's the real reason why this was canceled. That's why I'm like, dude, the blame game is all nonsense. They only sold like 10,000 tickets for this event.
I was about to ask that. The ticket,
and it's the week before the event.
It's the week before the event, and it is the actual the large arena. This is not the Hulu Theater that they have booked. They booked Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Madison Square Garden.
How many
that's silly. Oh gosh, it's 20,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's the home of the Knicks. Anyway, Sean, if you got your headphones, brother, join us tonight, man. I just dropped the link again.
But the thing about it is like you're like we talked about this, Joseph. You're booking or you're reserving Madison Square Garden for an event in the middle of the summer, in a prime, pretty much like a prime, I would say a prime date range, and you can't push tickets, for your event. And yeah, it's a bad look all around because, we talk about it with the sport of boxing. Boxing sometimes is like you have fights and you have events, and you have fighters that turn fights into events. Canelo Alvarez turns fights into events.
Absolutely.
Tank Davis turns fights into events.
Absolutely.
Floyd Mayweather turned fights into events. Jake Paul tries to turn fights into events, but for the past couple of fight cards or fights that he's had, it hasn't really been an event. And so even with the original plan to fight Tommy Fury, the needle didn't move for that. They tried to see if they could do something here with Hasim Rahman, and it's been a whole.
Okay, yeah, and you know what? Boxing Source, going back into the business, and once again, I'm going to introduce my brother here. Welcome to the show, the always insightful Sean. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. I was just on H's channel. I got the notification a bit late by the looks of it, but I'm here now. How is everyone?
Thank you for joining us. We're doing well, especially now that you've joined us, brother. And thanks for the awesome discussion last week. And we'll pick up where we left off because I've got some new information as well, because I was really curious as to how boxing was run back in the day, right? And what the emphasis was with only one title, 2 titles even. Right. And we'll get into that a little bit later on the program. But Bomb, ultimately, he originally said it's cloud chasing on the grandest scale. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you guys this. When is the last time you've heard Canelo Alvarez call out anyone?
Yep, no one.
Guys, that's the only purpose of calling out any fighter is to float out in the media and see what bites. You're basically, so a fighter and a manager and a promoter, they're throwing things against the wall to see what sticks. That's the only purpose of it. It's for the fan and media benefit. And if it creates this buzz, well, then you know you've got something, right? Guys, it's my pleasure to introduce at this time the hardest working man in boxing, the incomparable Young Bill. Young Bill, how you doing tonight, brother?
Young Billy.
Smoking Joe, what's up, champ?
YB.
Nate, what's up with you, NJ? My boy.
Well, I tell you what, and hopefully I'm going to be joined by Rick Nunez a little bit later. We're going to be on this show. We're going to be promoting a lot of the big events coming up, and we're kind of promoting them last night, right? And once again, Young Bill and I are going to be calling the action on Boxing TV. It's going to be live at the Techport Arena, the house that Bam Rodriguez built on September 10th. What's going to be an outstanding event. Yeah, it's going to be a big card.
Congrats.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And once again, it's going to be live on Boxing TV. Young Bill and I are going to be calling all the action. Every single bout's going to be televised. So, I'm really looking forward to that. We're currently working on sponsorship as well as all of the arrangements right now. We're terribly busy.
What's the sponsorship situation?
We've got a lot of sponsors locked up, but because it's such a big event and because it's such an expensive venue, we're looking for sponsors to actually cover that cost as well. And once again, I'm letting you guys in on the business end of things. So if anyone is willing or interested in advertising, being a part of this grand event, please let me know. Please inbox me or call me at 210-571-3301. And so once again, we already have the support of Hell Texas. We already have the support of Halftime Pizza, who's going to be, guys, and I'm proud to say this, they're going to be the official site of the weigh-in ceremony on September 9th. I can announce that right now. Dave Garcia just attached himself and Halftime Pizza to the event. So, yes, awesome. Young Bill, we're going to be eating pizza, brother, while we're actually emceeing the weigh-in this time. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, that's terrible, man. We eating pizza while people had to make weight. Ain't that simple?
Well, no, that's the allure of the event, though, because they sell pasta also, right?
Yeah.
And so
no one getting pasta.
But the thing about it is, like, they could make weight, but after they make weight, then they can eat.
That's it.
Yeah, they come and grab a slice, brother. They get that slice.
And so that's the allure of having the weigh-in at an eatery like Halftime Pizza that sells pasta. They sell hoagies, they sell pizza. And so Dave Garcia, God bless him, he was all over it. He was like, yes, bring your entire posse to this event. We're going to pack the house, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Man. I can't wait, Joe. I'm glad you let me know. So September 9th, I'm there. Hey, you know what, Joe? I'm excited for Daniel Cortez, man. I know he's gonna be on this card too.
Yes, he's going to be on this card. It's going to be an amazing undertaking, guys. And if you're in the South Texas area, please come and say hi. We'll get you some tickets. And yeah, it's going to be a terrific event, guys. And once again, it's going to be at the new Port Tech Arena in San Antonio, Texas.
It'll be our second time working together and doing commentary, man. That was.
It's going to be a lot of fun, brother. And once again, I credit to you, young Bill. Your knowledge of the sport, your charisma makes it effortless. Thank you so much for
being. Is that going to be streamed, guys?
It's going to be streamed for free. Anyone who wants to tune in on Boxing TV.
There we go.
Okay. So it's going to be the same. Is that's the same site we had it? It was streamed on for our first fight, right, Joe?
Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir. Okay. Absolutely.
Okay.
And cool. So want to welcome our brother Smoke. Hey, brother, I just dropped the link. Why don't you climb in and we'll talk about whatever you guys want. But I tell you what, though, so those are the two big events in South Texas that we're going to be covering. Once again, it happens this Friday, the weigh-in at, what is it called? Perfect Score is what it's called.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard of that, Joe. I heard of that.
Yeah, it's a Perfect Score on Ingram and 410, guys, and that's where the weigh-in's going to be. I'm going to be emceeing the event. And then the following evening at the Shrine Auditorium in San Antonio, Texas, I'm going to be doing ring announcing duties, guys. So and here's also an added bonus. I'm going to be singing the Francis Scott Key Classic in operatic style. I'm going to be singing the national anthem. How do you like that?
You've got those type of pipes. You've got those type of pipes.
You wear a mini hat, big Joe.
You got those type of pipes.
Nice to meet you, champ. But Joe, I'm proud of you, man. And you know, you've been working really hard, and I'm happy that you're also doing a lot of sponsorship stuff. You're doing a lot of you're actually working in the business of boxing, so you know a lot about what goes on, and that makes a professional card. So you're actually in two different worlds right now. You come here and you talk to us, and then you're a journalist, and then also you're dabbling in the business of boxing now. So I'm happy for you, and I know that's going to lead to greener pastures wherever it may be. But yeah, man, just knowing that they because I know you're disciplined, and I know how hard you work. So yeah, everybody's going to get to see it, man. When you come to these shows or you listen to how Joe commentates, man, he does really well with the commentary, and he actually made it real easy for me, man. He actually did, man. He made it real easy. Yeah. Oh man, because I was nervous as I don't know what, and Joe broke the ice so well and so easy and made the night flow smooth. Him and the wonderful Margie.
Thank you for giving a shout out to my honey, man. And once again, I don't know what I'd do without her, man. She's my better half, and it's funny. And I'll pull back the curtain and let you guys know what she does on the evening. She's right there ringside with us, and if we're on camera, yeah, she's our makeup person for boxing TV.
Well, that's why you two look so good then. I get it. I get it now. All right.
Yeah, that's my honey, man. She's the official makeup person on the evening. So yeah, she's my support, man, and she's an amazing person. And honestly, I don't think I could do it without her. I'm so absent-minded in my old age, man, that she actually remembers to pick up after me, and everything that I forget about doing, yeah, she always reminds me, hey, don't forget you have to do this. Guys, at this time, I want to welcome my brother. Let's see, hold on. Let me see if I can push this screen. Hold on. Let's see. I don't think I can see it right now. Hold on. I'm trying to actually get this gentleman on. Hold on.
Joe, you fell out, but yeah, man, if anybody wants to know how hard it is, man, there's so many things that change on making the card. It was fights that were canceled the day of the fight that didn't get approved.
Damn.
By the commission in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it was different stuff, man. They went through like 6 different opponents. Bro, wow. It's ever changing. Like, you know what I mean? I took it for granted, So you know how we criticize, man, bro, the best ain't fighting the best. The cards are trash, bro. But I see how hard it is to actually get 2 guys in their prime that are willing to, and that's something that Joe's friend Rick Mordones does really well, man. He matches guys that are undefeated and in the early stage of their career. You might have a guy 4-0 against a guy 5-0, and that were amateur prospects that were standouts. You know, like this one kid, Guillermo Gutierrez, he boxed Mark Castro and other guys, and Rasheem Jefferson and all these guys in the amateurs. This guy is really you know, and he just didn't grow like those kids. You know, like Keyshawn and them are 35 pounders. Mark Castro's at 130. He's still a 115, 118 pounder. And this guy is really a monster, man. This kid, you know, for him to hold his own with those bigger guys and seeing how big Keyshawn and these guys are now, this guy is really a problem, man. And it's a lot of talent, man. It's a lot of talent. Like at these local level shows, these guys, Bam Rodriguez was on these same shows a couple years ago.
Yeah, I got a question about this. Like, how hard is it if fights fall out off, like some fights, and you got to know these guys' names and stuff just due to professionalism? Like, how that's got to be tough, because if you study for these like 4 fights or 5 fights, you know all the fighters' name by heart. Then you find out of the 5 fights, 3 or 4 of them has been like either the opponents got replaced or canceled, and there's a new fight. Like that's got to be tough.
Yeah, look, and this is why I can say without a doubt, right, that Jake Paul had no intention of going through with the event, because it's common practice, right? And PBC is very good at this, and they showed it in their last event in San Antonio, Texas, right? They had 2 fighters fall off the card, one against Frank Martin, one against Reis Alim. Is that Alim? Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so they were able to come up with 2 replacements because they had them on standby the entire time. Most people don't understand this, or they don't know this, but Jackson Marinez that night actually got paid more than Frank Martin.
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do, guys, to go through with the event. So when you consider that Jake Paul is the overwhelming draw, someone's trying to get in and I can't get him in on my system. For some reason, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's probably Big Smoke.
Yeah, I would love to have the Council of Big Smoke on the show, man. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I can't seem to put him on for some reason.
Recently on that same card, remember it was already Rashidi Ellis, his opponent fell through the week of the fight as well.
So I'm sorry, that's who I was talking about, is Rashidi Ellis. Okay, they had a replacement on standby as well, and if you can't get that, you know, if it doesn't follow through, the guy that you have on standby, well, then you get him a little bit of money, you get him a paid vacation to that city, and then you get him some ringside seats, right? And that's what you have to do to make sure that the event goes through. But so that tells me, so this is why I can't understand why so many people are going on and on about who's to blame. Guys, Jake Paul had no interest in following through with the event. Okay, because once again, we're in the business of boxing. We understand how this works.
He's a muppet.
Okay, because ticket sales were so bad. They had no intention of going through with the event. They shouldn't have picked such a big venue. Like Madison Square Garden, the big room is 20,000 seats, guys.
What?
Hey, Joseph, can I talk about this a little bit?
Go ahead, Source. Go ahead, brother.
We're talking about promotion, and me at a shade over 40 years old. I've been in the promotional business on the events front when it comes to like music events or Caribbean events or things like that. And there's also been like other times when I've attempted to try to book venues to do other, events. It didn't necessarily have to be sports or anything like that, but like think about marching bands or something like that and trying to do an event surrounding that. So you pretty much get into the business of like looking at the venues, trying to reserve a venue, what it takes to reserve a venue, then taking the cost from that, taking the cost from booking the either the acts or the bands or the fighters and all that type of stuff. You need to have all of that money. You need to have a lot of backing. You need to have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G in order for any event to take place wherever it's going to be at. And when it comes to this thing with Jake Paul, he only had basically a plan A. maybe a plan B because of what happened with Tommy Fury. But after that, you got to have something. And I mean something if anything goes wrong with your plan B, because you are the main event.
That's what tells me. And once again, you're just scratching the surface, my friend. You're not talking about security. You're not talking about PA. You're not talking about DJ.
I'm not talking about concessions. I'm not talking about advertising.
That's right.
I'm not
look,
talking about
and so that's where the big time sponsorship comes in. It's supposed to alleviate all of your costs, right? And that's why you really have to beat your feet. And once again, this is why on this show, guys, if anyone is kind enough to donate to support the show, WAWR Week Radio, all of those donations go to support the South Texas amateur boxing community, and all of that money goes directly to the gyms, right? So when you see that Cash App $WAWR Week, that goes directly to the gyms. If you guys want to support that, and I will never, ever push that cost of producing the show, paying for the internet, paying for the bills, any of that stuff. I'll always lean on sponsors to do that. That's why this show is brought to you by Help Texas and Halftime Pizza. Okay, I don't believe in pushing that on my listeners, right? And it's, in my opinion, it's unethical. If these guys want to be a part of the show, if you guys want to be a part of the show, you're more than welcome. And I'm not going to charge you a super chat or any nonsense like that, right? It's like, if you can't get sponsorship for your show, then it's probably not that good. Okay, and it's the same concept in staging a club show. But at this time, guys, I'd like to introduce our brother Tony Manzano, as well as our brother Antonio. Antonio, this is a first you joining the show, sir.
Hey, good evening, family. What's going on?
Antonio, salute, brother. Salute.
I finally made it. I finally figured this out.
You're welcome, brother. Welcome.
Hey, man.
Hey,
Welcome.
So tell us about your son, who just started boxing and just started taking up the sport in the gym.
He's doing well. He's taking well to it, actually. He's progressing quite a bit. I talk to his coach daily, and his coach is telling me he's taking to it like a sponge, and he's enjoying it. So we're still going to have him learn defense and his footwork as well, like Coach Gold said. And within a couple of months, hopefully he'll be sparring with a kid that's the same age as him in a couple of months. This kid's been sparring for 6 months, and my son's coach is telling me Joseph has picked up to where he's learning this kid's habits, and he's like a savant. So I'm enjoying it.
That's amazing, brother. And once again, if you have any questions about your son's trainer, or his coach, or the gym, anything you want, please feel free to ask Coach Gogi on the show, or Coach Ronnie. Once again, we don't want to put your son in a position where he's not enthused and he's not ready to spar. Once again, like Emmanuel, it's funny, when he used to take amateurs, and just natural athletically gifted kids and put them in the ring, boy, you wouldn't spar unless he understood that you had the fundamentals down first. He wouldn't put you in a position, girls and boys, he wouldn't put you in a position to fail. And he would never have you spar unless you had your fundamentals down. Like, he wouldn't even want you to throw a backhand or a power hand unless you had the jab down as well as your footwork. Right. And that was Emmanuel Stewart. And so hopefully your coach is following that same principle.
That's a great coach. That's a great coach when they don't allow you to just throw you in there. That's great.
Yeah, Emmanuel was the very best. And James Gogi is cut from the same cloth as well as Ronnie Shields. But I tell you what, though, man, going back to the business of boxing, though, that's the importance, though, guys, of really beating your feet and getting sponsors. because everything adds up. It's such a and it's crazy, man. Fighters
You know
nowadays.
what's sickening?
Go ahead, Anthony.
This is what's sickening to me. It's going to affect, like, for me, I'm going to look at, let's say another MMA fighter wants to do a cross-promotional exhibition. It's going to affect one of those guys in the future with trying to do a promotion with, like, let's say a Floyd Mayweather or a Canelo or something like that, or a Manny Pacquiao, because they saw what Jake Paul did. So that's what scares me.
And what should scare you the most, and this is why I'm actually happy that this fight crumbled, this event crumbled. Okay, just like the Le'Veon Bell as well as Adrian Peterson fight, why that crumbled, I'm excited and I'm happy. Okay? Because the fact that Showtime, they were willing to give these precious and rare TV dates to these ham and eggers, okay, really actually scared me. Okay? I'm sorry, but these TV dates are the lifeblood of boxing at this time, because if you notice, no influential promoters are putting on off-TV events. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is why I love working with TMB. I love working with South Park Boxing, because this is the way real fans are made. This is the way casuals are converted to diehard fans. This is how you get them into the sport and excited about it. They meet the fighters. They see the action unfold before them. They feel the crack of the shot when they see it live, and it's something to behold. And most of these people have never seen a live prize fight. And so you're introducing the majesty of boxing to them for the very first time, a lot of them. And this is how you convert casuals into into diehard fans. And so if you notice, no promoters are doing that at this time. Not Golden Boy. It's like even when Golden Boy didn't have TV dates with DAZN, they were very scarce. You didn't see them staging club shows in California or Texas or Nevada or anywhere. And I'm like, you know what? That's a problem. That's a big problem for the sport of boxing.
Joseph, I got a question real quick. And I also like the panel to answer this too as well, in their opinion, each of y'all opinion. What do you think? Because honestly, a lot of these ticket sales and fights just not selling, or promoters basically bluffing on how much the sales are, and we find out the real numbers. What do you think it would take for boxing to actually, instead of degressing, but progressing in ticket sales and interest? Like, what needs to be done? Do these fighters need to start going the WWE route, where they're just doing skits, being more visible everywhere as much as possible? I mean, what needs to be done? I just want to hear what everybody's thoughts, because it's obvious.
I think that's what should be done. I think Jake Paul has done that tremendously, where he's kind of found his own niche within boxing, and kind of branching out and showing other fans they can do it this way. I kind of like, even though he gets on my nerves, I kind of like his approach. It's kind of that WWE style approach, and it's kind of working for him.
Well, it's working for him, and once again, he's an anomaly.
Right.
Okay. So
Conor McGregor. Don't forget Conor.
Oh man, Conor's an afterthought. And look,
that's UFC.
And look, and once again, guys, it's just what I've been saying in my experience as being a publicist for these fighters, right? There's no rhyme or reason why a crowd attaches itself to a specific entertainer. They either do or they don't. Okay? And once again, Jake Paul is an anomaly. How many YouTubers are as popular as he is that actually want to try their hand at boxing?
Nobody.
I mean, look, his brother's in the WWE now.
Yeah, Logan Paul, and he's doing a great job there.
That's how big them two guys are. It's just
that's right.
Simple.
That's how huge those two guys are, and how many others are that way.
Exactly.
Well, that's my thing.
To Nate's point, you need to stack cards, and you need to bring down prices, and you need to put boxing on free TV.
That's it. Thank you, Sean. That is the magic word right there. You need to make it where everyone can see the damn product. Okay, So once again, what boxing has been doing for the past several decades is featuring the best product, okay? The best fighting the best, obscured with the pay-per-view revenue stream. Okay, they're basically saying, okay, only an exclusive bunch can see this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a problem. You're not going to grow the sport that way.
What was the price for the Jake Paul fight?
Oh, I don't even know, and I don't care. But
it's got to be 60.
It was anywhere between $60 and $80, and you know what? To be honest, it's $60 or $80 too much.
And Joshua Usyk is 26, and Joshua Usyk is £26.
That's right, and once again, guys, like we stated several weeks ago, no American network has jumped on that yet.
There you go. There's the problem.
I thought they were still showing on the Zone in America.
Nope.
That's ridiculous. What?
Eddie
Sky Sports got the right.
Sky Sports have the broadcast rights in the UK. No network is willing to pay that steep licensing fee at this time in America. There's a very good possibility, guys, that we're going to have to be streaming the Sky Sports link in order to watch that tremendous.
Eddie Hearn really robbed the bank over there.
Yeah, guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, once again, no network right now. From what I've been told, no network is even interested right now in the very steep price tag. Okay. There is no network involved right now, or no network interested in this fight. And once again, in America, because even though it's a very consequential bout with the landscape of the heavyweight division, these guys don't move the needle in the American market, unfortunately.
Joseph, I have a question. Do you think the promoters and the networks will eventually get to a point where they see with pay-per-views that the numbers are failing, that eventually they'll go to a more like the back in the 80s type of programs where they're showing it on free TV?
Well, here's the problem, brother. Because of the big guaranteed purses that these fighters are demanding, right? Here's the big problem. Why do you think they're on pay-per-view out of necessity in the first place?
You just said it.
Okay, why
overbloated purses?
No. It's not just that, though. Okay,
that's part.
Okay, why do you think they're on pay-per-view in the first place? Because no mainstream sponsors. They can't get enough mainstream sponsors to support the event, or else they would be for free. Again, NFL, NBA, MLB, they don't have this problem. They have no problem getting mainstream sponsorship in the American market. Okay, but boxing? No, dude. I mean, that's why PBC failed.
Joseph, I got a question.
Hold on. When PBC, they were doing these time buys back in 2015, 2016. Why do you think it failed?
PBC
because they couldn't get enough mainstream sponsorship.
Right.
That's the problem. So no network, no major network like Fox, CBS, NBC, none of these guys are willing to give these guys primetime slots for their events because it doesn't attract enough mainstream sponsorship. That's why the only way they'll televise it or do the production on it and attach their brand to it is if it's attached to the pay-per-view revenue stream. That's a problem. Okay?
So I got a question right there. So
the thing on that, real quick, we've had recent examples of that where you have something like a Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin, or a Keith Thurman versus a Mario Barrios. When you have fighters like that either command purses of $1 million or anything above $1 million for the total purse, that requires a pay-per-view event. Why? Because Fox or whoever the promotional company is can't get enough sponsorship from companies in order for it to be carried on a Fox, on an NBC, on a CBS, on a Fox, even a Fox Sports 1.
Yep.
Like they can't even do that. Like it's crazy that you have someone like a Vito Milnicki card on Christmas Day on Fox Sports 1. But that's about as good as it could get. Outside of that, you're not
and
really
and why is that fight card being shown and not Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin? Why?
Because no one like the mainstream
Well, and once again, here's the other side of the equation, the other problem, right? Because their pre-fight guarantees are way too high. It exceeds their current market value. That's a problem. But so once again, how do you expect a fight to grow? And once again, Cosmic has the beat, and this outlines the exact problem Showtime is having right now in making Spence versus Crawford. He says, sorry, but Showtime Boxing is not a sports network. That's right. They do movies and TV shows. That's right. So the the great majority of their subscribers are tuning in for their original programming with movies. They're not subscribing for boxing.
I never seen fighters be put in cameos in other movies or shows, but I've seen them use the actors or actresses come up and be in big fights, and they'll have them talk on the telecast and stuff sometimes. I never understood why they never put the boxers in cameos in those movies or TV shows. I never understood that.
Yeah, and for me,
it's been a long time since that happened. Like you remember some with Mike Tyson or Riddick Bowe on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or some with Evander Holyfield maybe, or Tommy Hearns on Martin. But
that's what they need.
Modern day,
no one cares, guys. No one cares any longer. Look. People still want to like boxing. I mean, look, you're getting ready to see Creed 3 come out next year in March, right? People still want to like boxing. They love that idea. Why do you think Jake Paul is such a big hit? Celebrity death match. They love that idea of two guys squaring off. Okay, but unfortunately, in this era of liberal society, and this is the gray area in which boxing resides currently, it's too barbaric for liberal society, but it's not barbaric enough for the mainstream and casual fight fan, the guys who have gravitated towards MMA. Okay, so boxing is in that gray area. That's why we've lost a lot of fans to MMA.
It's more violent, I guess.
MMA, you can just sit there dribbling and you can understand what's happened. I've fought MMA guys. It's a lot easier than boxing.
That's it, guys.
Like if you get a grappler, if you get a really good grappler, he's gonna be a really good stand-up fighter easily, and it's gonna look boring, right? Even though what he's doing is an amazing art in itself, it's gonna look boring, right? And the crowd will start booing, and that's completely acceptable. The sweet art of science takes a lot longer to thing, and no one can tell me any different.
You're absolutely right.
I've trained with Nico Price, Yair Rodriguez. I've trained with these boys. Like it's nowhere. They're nowhere near the craft of a boxer. Nowhere near.
That's it. And look, and this is the frustration with going to a live MMA event. And I don't give a shit what anyone says. I'm sorry, but pugilism is still the most attractive and aesthetically pleasing discipline in combat sports. I'm sorry.
People don't understand it.
Look, that's the reality. And my biggest hesitation and what I can't stand, and I've actually called and been ring announcer for several MMA events. And the biggest problem with sitting outside, being a fan, is that as soon as both guys hit the floor and start grappling, you're forced to look up and look at the damn Jumbotron. Like it defeats the purpose of seeing the event live.
Oh, you can't see it when they're on the floor wrestling. Okay.
Exactly.
It's hard to see.
Just looks like two guys humping each other. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, but that's why they boo.
Wait. Wasn't it? Look. MMA is nothing but a bunch of pinhead white guys rolling around the ring with another white guy.
Who said that?
That's it. That's Bob Arum. So wow. Peter Von Arx has the beat. Boxing surpasses MMA all day long. Yes. Yeah, but guys who just want to see blood and guts, right? And just want to see, and once again, boxing has always been considered to be a gentleman's sport. When you knock a guy down, You don't immediately jump on him and throw elbows in his face. You go back to the neutral corner and you give him a chance to recover. It's a gentleman's sport at the end of the day. Okay, yeah. MMA fans who want to see more quote unquote fight in their fight.
The Queensberry rules.
That's it. So that's a big problem. So right now, boxing is in that gray area, guys, and that's why you're seeing it become before our very eyes a fringe commodity within the U.S. sports market.
So I got a question.
Joe, could I say something real quick?
Who's it? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, well, this is what happens. Like, boxing is harder to understand for the layman's fans. That's why they gravitate towards MMA, like UFC, Bellator, because there's not a lot of rules to understand. And am I right, or am I?
Well, I will say this, guys. Did you ever have the? Did you ever see UFC when it first started? Right.
I watched it from number 2.
Oh my gosh, it was brutal and it was disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was disturbing. Like I didn't like it, and I've always been a boxing guy, and I couldn't stand it. It was too barbaric and disgusting. I'm like, you know what, guys? This is nothing more than a street fight in the octagon.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was disturbing, actually. I saw guys get their eye sockets busted from an elbow. I'm like, what's sporting about this? There's nothing sportsmanlike about this product. It's barbaric and it's awful.
Yeah, Joe, you know why it's so barbaric? It's following. It follows the old school like gladiator.
Well, and once again, that's fine for guys who like that kind of disturbing shit. But I'm sorry, man. Boxing has always been about sportsmanship and athleticism, discipline. That's the majesty of boxing, guys.
And intelligence.
But that's the funny thing, right? Because then you get the argument where the MMA guys will tell you that nobody's died in UFC. Yeah. Even though it's even if it's as barbaric as it is because
I want to ask the two guys who have experience with promoting boxing. Is there a way you can actually? Is there something you can actually do to prevent these from promoters from scalping tickets on the secondary market and buying it up?
No. Look, Anthony, look, as long as third-party scalping is legal in this country, there's absolutely nothing you can do from getting guys like Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum to buying up all the tickets and selling them for 3 times the amount on the third-party market.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do. So it's funny when you hear like Canelo versus Triple G, is sold out in a day.
Yep.
No, well, technically it was, but no, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Eddie Hearn's going to make a killing. Eddie Hearn's going to make a killing on the third-party market, right? He's going to sell these tickets, and then you're going to see a week before the event, there be a huge price deduction.
Eddie.
Yep, that's it, guys. And once again, Eddie is the king of this. So is Al Heyman. Al Heyman did this racket for all of Floyd's fights, and he was able to make a killing for the both of them.
Well,
guys, that's a huge. And once again, there's nothing stopping promoters from doing it.
It creates hype.
No, there's no rules against it.
It creates hype, and they make a shit ton of money.
Did Don King ever do that, or was he more of a? Was Don
only
King
in America, baby?
Look. I don't want to talk about Don King right now because honestly, he began this downward slide.
Listen, Don King done everything in boxing. Let's be honest.
Look, I don't want to talk about Don King because you could make an argument for him being great for the fans, great for the health of the sport,
right?
But also terrible for the health of the sport. And starting this entire pay-per-view, I mean, because honestly, he's the one who started the entire pay-per-view trend, closed circuit trend. Okay, pulling the biggest events of boxing away from mainstream TV. He started all of that. Okay, and where's he now?
I never liked him.
He doesn't have to suffer the residual effects of it. He doesn't have to suffer that. He's retired. Okay, he's sitting on a big fat cache of money, enjoying his life, retired from the sport, and we're all having to pick up the pieces. But I will say this about Don King. He genuinely cared about the fans, the real bosses of boxing. He was like, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to make sure that they get a good product. I'm going to promote this event until I'm exhausted. Right?
Hey, Joe, you seen his last that you seen the article for what he did with his last fight, right?
Oh gosh, I don't even know what his last one. Trevor Bryan, Daniel Dubois. Gosh,
I read up. It was a crazy shit. It was crazy. Good God.
Well, was Eddie Hearn's father like that as well? Was he a fan friendly promoter, Joe?
Oh yes, Barry Hearn is a legend in the UK.
Yeah, he was 10 times the promoter Eddie is.
Thank you. He's a legend, and there's a reason why he's in the Hall of Fame, Anthony.
Yeah, not just with the sport of boxing, but with with snooker and darts.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about just the International Boxing Hall of Fame. There's a reason why he's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
But yeah, as a sports guy, the man was involved in everything. He was huge.
He's a legend, okay, and he understands the business of it. I mean, he is one of the guys who actually wrote the rules of promotion with guys like Don Chargan, with guys like Russell Peltz, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, long before Bob Arum or Don King ever tested their mettle within the business of boxing. Okay, Barry is one of the guys who wrote the rules of promotion.
Yeah, this is an honest. This is a big what if. This is a big what if for the sport of boxing. What if the McMahons were still involved in the sport? How different would it? Wait.
Are you talking about wrestling now?
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about that family in general. They were involved in boxing. No, I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? They tried, but that was a terrible
undertaking. Listen, if you come in and you try and you fail and you leave, then it wouldn't have made no difference.
Look, and
if they were good for boxing, they'd still be in boxing.
That's why I talk about Jake Paul. I'm like, look, guys, why is everyone talking about this?
He can do one as well.
Because there's a very good chance that he'll be out of the business within 3 years. Because that's what we've seen. I'm like, anyone who's been in this business for a considerable amount of time, we've seen so many promotional groups come and go. Like, guys, what the fuck happened to Rock Nation?
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, right now, people are getting too caught up in what they're seeing on their internet every single day, on their social medias. Yeah, when they're posting them about all over the place. If you look at some of the titles of the actual pages that are sharing these are just pages that are made up by their marketing machines. And everyone's jumping on it, so it becomes the topic of conversation. They keep talking about it. The guy's a joke. Look, he's been training and he's got better, but he's a joke. He hasn't had one single proper boxing fight. Then they say Hassan Rahman, if he wins, they're going to rank him in the WBC. Are you serious?
Once again, and this was my entire argument, Sean, last week when we were talking about this, how boxing fans and everyone within the business should start gravitating away.
Yes.
Pushing themselves away from these sanctioned organizations. It's become a joke, a fraudulent joke. So how do you get ranked, right? If you defeat a weight drain 220 ranked heavyweight in the world.
Where's he ranked?
I'm sorry, Asim Rahman Jr.?
Yeah.
220.
So
how do you get a WBC ranking by beating a guy who's ranked 220?
I thought he'd be worse. I thought
you put him. I did.
That's a joke. That's a joke, guys.
The fact that he's 220 is a bit of a joke, in my opinion. But it's no good. It's a mockery. But this is the thing. It's got to the point now where everybody feels like they have to partake in whatever is popular on social media. If the big wigs and the big company heads stop using people the fact that the term influencer even exists is what's wrong. Is what's wrong with the world.
Man,
people are influencing people to do stuff.
Look, guys.
Quiet, man.
Hold on, Nate. Hold on, brother. So going back to our conversation last week, right?
Yeah.
And just thinking about how Don Chargan, how he said the sport was held in the 50s and the 60s. When you think back about it, okay, instead of all of these bullshit titles that mean absolutely nothing, when you look at the ring rankings or the transatlantic rankings, okay, that's what you go by. Back in the day, in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, okay, when a fighter got ranked in the top 20, just like in the music, just like in Billboard, boy, that was something. That was really something. Then you started to create some noise. And whenever there was a matchup of two guys in the top 15, that was a big fight. Yeah. And so instead of putting this emphasis, and networks are the biggest culprits. Yep. Networks need to understand that these belts don't mean shit. You don't need belt to be attached to a matchup to mean something. You look at the rankings. If there's one ranking system, okay, like the ring, then if there's a big fight, you focus on the rankings. And that's what Don Chargan always professed. That's the way it used to be in the 30s. That's the way it used to be in the 40s and the 50s, when boxing was in a much healthier state. So when two guys are ranked in the top 15 and they're fighting each other, that's a big deal, guys. And that's the way boxing needs to be again.
So Joseph, I want to ask you, since you know a lot about boxing. In 70 years, do you think boxing will still be around?
Yes. Well, in the immortal words of Larry Merchant, and I truly believe this, right? He said, and it was so prophetic, and God bless Larry, man. I heard he's in bad health, man. I hope he lives another 100 years. Damn. But he said this. He said, look, nothing can kill boxing, but nothing can save it as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Kind of like how profound is that shit when you look at how the business is right now? Wow. Boy, I mean, look, it'll still be attractive to people because everyone loves a fight. Like it's something that stops traffic, guys, when you see two people getting down. Right? like seriously, like everyone loves a good fight. But what can save boxing as we know it to get back to being a mainstream commodity? I think Larry Merchant's absolutely right.
Remember
I think it goes into two elements with that. One, it has to go back to the old days, well, quote unquote old days, in two fronts. One, it can't have all of these, these daggum organizations like you were talking about, all these rankings, all these organizations, all these belts, all these sanctioning fees. Like it's getting too ridiculous in that sense. You got to have
exactly. And once again, I don't
ranking system
source. I don't see any need for it, to be honest with you. Yeah. I really don't.
So that was one. But the other thing is that, well, for me, going into my background, the culture, things like that, boxing has been one of the, or if not the oldest sport when it comes to America, so to speak, right?
Yep.
So you had a certain demographic of people that turned to boxing, for a sport, and it was one of the more major sports out there, from the 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on. But in the 50s and 60s, and then going into the 70s, there was more sports, more professional sports coming up. You had football and you had basketball.
Look. Source, I can tell you with great certainty from my education of history with Don Chargan. Mm-hmm. Okay, you tell me another sporting event that was bigger than the Thriller in Manila.
Thriller in Manila.
Okay, you tell me another sporting event that was bigger than that at the time.
And there was nothing.
Okay, so when did that take place?
The world stopped.
Okay, give me another athlete that was as well known worldwide as Muhammad Ali.
None.
Not even
exactly.
Jesus. Not even Jesus.
Like honestly, you could maybe even make an argument that Muhammad Ali was more well known than the Pope.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
That has been said.
Probably still now, people wouldn't even, they'd know Muhammad walking down the road.
Okay, so think about where boxing was at that time. Fast forward 50 years later, Look where we are now, and that's what we're having to deal with now.
Yeah, but also, let's keep it 100.
But for me, it kind of goes into like, and this is from my personal experience, right? Like when I was a teenager coming up, you know, you have, of course, you like for me, I went through the era of watching basketball, watching, you know, in the 80s, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, Isaiah Thomas, and so forth.
Yep.
You go into NFL football, you watch Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Joe Montana, Steve Young, and so on and so forth. So when that has been the more marketable sport, even though you still had Iron Mike Tyson, you know, he was called the baddest man on the planet. Honestly, I was the youngest undisputed champion of the world. Baddest man on the planet. One of the more famous athletes or figures in America.
Yep. That's right.
You still had it to the point where more of us, like I'm talking about me, I'm talking, you know, about young.
And once again, I'll go ahead and resolve this source, okay?
All right.
Because you look at Mike Tyson, if that fight, right, with Michael Spinks was on ABC, CBS, or NBC, we wouldn't have this problem right now.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Look, and I'm going to pull this on once again. Joey Chaz has the beat.
Yep.
PBC will just keep boxing isolated, and that's what happened, guys.
Yep.
Okay, the promoters, the fighters, the networks, they got too greedy. Yep. And they isolated the product, obscuring it from mainstream audience members.
Too many.
Shout out to Champ Ross on there. You see his comment?
Yep.
Oh, man.
There it is. Boxing had a big chance during the pandemic when everyone was at home and there was no sports. Guys, why do you think Lomachenko versus Lopez did so well, reaching 3 million viewers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that was it.
Yep.
Why didn't we see more events in the bubble during the pandemic?
But this is the thing. Look, you just talked. You had Jake Paul looking at $60. You got Usyk versus Joshua. You got them arguing over Crawford, and they're all the pay-per-view on the back end. You got Triple G, Canelo. You got pay-per-views coming out all over the place. Like, people are going to pick and choose what they want to spend on, which means others are going to become a failure.
Very competitive. Yep.
So therefore, the whole system fails. You know, like WWE has a pay-per-view. If it wants to do a SummerSlam or a Royal Rumble, people are going to pay that once or twice a year. They're fine with that because all the rest of the shows that they're getting that builds up the fandom, that builds up their favourites, are free.
Look,
their Monday night Raws, etc. Those things is what we need to bring back in boxing.
That's it. And look. But what you just said was very insightful. Hold on. What you just said was very insightful, though, brother. That when you look at TV, okay, it's so competitive within the U.S. market. Okay, and I'm going to once again stress, guys, August 6th in San Antonio, Texas, I'm going to be performing ring announcing duties to South Park Boxing and AAA Promotions at the Shrine Auditorium, August 6th. And once again, we've got a brilliant fight card, 12 fights, 12 bouts on the fight card, right? And it's all for the low bargain basement price of $30 for general admission. There's no reason why you can't make this. If you're in the South Texas area, guys, that's the key. We need to go back and putting this brilliant product in mainstream America once again, because right now it's obscured through these sterile casinos. The ones that are promoters have become too complacent and reliant on the big casino site fees. They become too reliant on the big licensing fees from the networks. They have no interest in selling tickets any longer. Guys, source, I'm going to ask you, brother, you were ringside, right, for Danny Garcia versus Jose Benavidez Jr. How many people were in that venue?
Under 9,000. The top level was taped off. The 100 level, I know wasn't full for sure. The single level, definitely wasn't full.
Okay, well, hold on. So this is not your first stint at covering one of these big events at the Barclays, right?
Right.
Okay. So compared to other events, what would you say the attendance was?
That was Rolly Tank.
Okay. What would you say the event?
Who just said that?
That was Sean.
Yeah. What did you just say?
Rolly Tank.
Rolly Tank.
Okay, so that one was capacity. That was what about 19,000?
The gate receipt for that was a shade over $5 million.
No, it was 3.7 million. I got it from Melvina Lathan. Yeah, I wrote an article about it. But I'm just saying attendance numbers.
Yeah,
that's crucial here.
Ooh, yeah.
So compared to Tank Rolly, what did the crowd look like? Maybe about 5,000, 6,000, maybe.
Yeah.
This past Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big effing problem, dude. That's a big problem. Yeah. So once again, and so why aren't promoters?
And that's Danny's home.
So this is one of the positives that you can say about Don King. He really pushed ticket sales. He did so many spots. Like, do you remember Zab Judah versus Carlos Valdemir, in which he lost in his hometown? Yeah. Right? Okay. Well, he blamed it on Don King. He said, you know what? Don King had me running around all over town doing interviews with TV stations, radio spots. Well, guess what? That's what it took.
Hey, Joseph. Hey, I gotta go, man. I gotta wash these fucking dishes, man. My significant other.
Well, hey, brother. Happy wife, happy life, my friend. Shit. Thank you for being a part of the show, Nate.
Hey, shout out to you, YB, man. Oh yeah, man. This is a great show.
Take care, Nate.
Joseph, I got this shit on notifications, so whenever you go live, I'm on here. I love it.
Thank you, Nate. Love you, brother. Thank you, brother. Well, I tell you what, guys, and then there were 4. So once again, man, this is the problem. So many promoters are completely reliant on site fees and licensing fees. And as soon as they get those big monetary amounts, then they wash their hands of everything and say, hey, this is no longer our event. Mm-hmm. Okay, this event now belongs to whoever paid the site fee. So now it's their responsibility to sell tickets, not ours. We've already done our job. Okay, there are only a couple of promoters in the nation that still worry about selling tickets. And this is, once again, why I love working with TMB Promotions and Rick Morones. He gives a shit about selling tickets. Like, you're going to hear me from now until September 10th peddling tickets, going to mainstream areas, literally selling tickets, right? Getting mainstream and casual audience members, casual fans involved in this event. Hey, young Bill, I did the same thing with the May 28th event. How was the turnout?
Young Bill's asleep, mate.
Oh, I guess he's asleep. But look, guys, we had a packed house then, right?
Oh, it was great.
And that's what it takes. That's what it takes. You've got to beat your feet. And somewhere along the way, promoters became complacent and forgot that simple rule of boxing. You've got to beat your feet and sell tickets. Ticket sales are the key to everything in this business.
Sometimes you've got to go old school, right? It's all well and good sharing things on social media, little clips, little 30-second videos, expecting people to be interested. But sometimes you've got to go out there face to face, meet the people, do something, have an event, have an open workout in the middle of some type of public space. Get people to know your fighter, get them interested in the local area where the fight's going to take place.
Yeah. That's it, Sean.
Simple. You got to hit the neighborhood stores, neighborhood grocery stores.
That's it, man. You've got to beat your feet. And you know what? As a publicist, and I remember staging media workouts in public thoroughfares, like in malls, back when malls used to be a thing, right? Like, that's how old I am, right? I used to actually stage media workouts in malls.
eBay and Amazon.
Like, when they used to see pad work, they were in awe of that. Like, we quickly got a crowd around all of that. They were in awe of seeing a finely tuned athlete.
Yeah. It looks great.
Hit the mitts, and it looks very impressive.
It's like watching Tank. If you watch Tank do the mitts, it's incredible.
That's it. And that's what I'm saying. All you do is show them that, and guess what? You just sold several hundred tickets.
And not only that, you've got people going, "Oh, we was here today. We saw this. I don't know if you know the guy." And it's like, "What? He was there?"
That's
He was
right.
there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I follow him. I watch him all the time. Yeah, he was really, really good. Yeah, well, why was he there? Well, he's fighting Saturday. What do you mean he's fighting Saturday? What tickets are available? Yeah, and that's the word of mouth.
That's the
Listen,
key,
we
guys.
live in a
That's
world
the
where
key.
we use computers for absolutely everything. Don't mean you can't go old school. We don't have to do everything like just because it's there. Like if you compare it to the movies right now, right?
Uh-huh.
They use CGI for everything, but some of the best movies we've ever watched that still get revered now were
That's
special
it.
effects.
That's it. Yep.
Sometimes just got to go with what works. You
Yep.
don't have to go with what's there because it's new. You just have
That's
to
it.
do whatever's best.
So going back to what we were talking about, right, last week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. The key to furthering the sport and promoting the sport and building the sport once again to where it was is the
Hmm.
grassroots community and the grassroots effort. It's all about ticket sales. It's all about beating your feet. It's
Hmm.
all about letting the casual and mainstream fan understand that it's an attainable product. They can reach out and touch it. It's
Yeah.
something as close as within their community. And they can become an active member of this community if they want to.
Yeah.
That's the importance of sponsorship, getting
Yeah.
local sponsors involved. That's
Hmm.
the importance of selling tickets and staging these media workouts where people can see them, reach out and touch these guys. They can actually take pictures with the fighters.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
the
the thing.
importance of that's going to be, guys, the future of boxing.
Yeah. The fighters now though they just do an Instagram live, right?
How effective has that been?
Like that's not because you've got half the people in there chatting absolute bollocks. You've got a load of other people going, "Hi, recognise me," and then you've got some actual boxing fans asking decent questions, getting lost in the mix, and then they're on
Yeah.
there for 10 minutes and they hang up and they think that that's like getting in touch with their fan base.
Okay,
No,
so
that
I'm going
that's
to
not
put this
right.
up here. Imagine if Don King had the PBC stable and promoting like he used to back in the day, what PBC could have been.
You know
Brother,
what
he
it would have
did.
been?
Oh, hold on. He did. And Source, you can back me up on this. He did have the kind of roster that PBC has
Yeah,
now.
Yeah, he
yeah,
did. He did. And the thing about it is, if what could have been is, from a theory standpoint, you probably would have still had those type of shows
hmm
on those,
That's it.
broadcast networks. You know,
yeah,
it wouldn't have got to the point where the fighters are asking for too much, or the sponsors just said the math ain't mathing. But I mean, I'm here to say that I do know a couple of people. I'm sure that Brother Joseph does as well. Know a couple of people that work within Premier Boxing Champions.
Uh-huh.
But you just get to the point where, like we've been saying, the fighters are asking for too much money.
That's it. Guys, it's become unreasonable. And you know what's and I'll say this though, to the fighters' defense, and once again, I always stick up for the fighters. It's not their fault. They've grown accustomed to receiving
yeah.
inflated purses. And
You
once
go, of
again, that's not their fault, guys. It's the promoters and the network's fault.
course, if you go to your local shop and they've put their prices up for something they know that you want, you don't. If you stop going in there, they'll drop it. If you keep going in there, it stays that price. It never goes back, even if there's no reason for it being that price.
Well,
That's
well,
it.
actually,
So hold
as it
on.
actually
Do you
happened,
remember? Hold on, Source. Do you remember what we talked about last week, Sean? And you brought up that one card that I often bring up because it was probably the greatest
Yeah, go on, tell everyone this
mainstream
card.
televised ABC
Listen to
card.
this.
Once
Listen
again,
to this
guys,
card.
it was on Wide World of Sports at Caesar's
Come
Palace
on
in
now.
Las Vegas, Nevada, Friday, okay, September
Let's
28th,
go.
1979, in the main event of the evening. And once again, guys, this was free mainstream TV.
This is ridiculous.
Larry Holmes versus Ernie Shavers 2.
Let's go.
In the co-main event, Wilfredo Gomez versus Carlos Mendoza. Okay, in the third preliminary bout, Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Andy Price. And at the time, Andy Price was a gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
He was a tough guy. He knocked him out in the first round. Okay.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. In the fourth bout, Jimmy Young versus Michael Dokes.
Wow.
In the fifth bout, Roberto Duran versus Zeferino Gonzalez.
Stop it now. I've run out of popcorn.
Okay. In the fifth bout, Jim Ingram versus Clarence Geiger. And in the fourth bout, Idiko Nasofor versus Junior Foster. But guys, think about all the names that were on the televised portion of the event, and that was on Wide World of Sports ABC.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Man.
You try and do a comparative card now.
That you can't. You can't.
It's impossible. Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, for instance, both being on the same card without fighting each other. Are you mad?
And Wilfredo Gomez.
Yep. And Larry Holmes.
And Jimmy Young, Michael Dokes.
And yeah, I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. There's something for everyone. Like, what a card. That's an outrageous card.
Dude, and that was on regular mainstream ABC Wide World of Sports with Howard Cosell in all of his splendor, Jim McKay as well.
You know, imagine going back in time, you'd have to say, wouldn't you? Anybody watching that, you don't know how good you've got this tonight. Like, you've got no idea what you're going to witness tonight.
And guess what, guys? It's the promoters and the networks that really screwed the sport of boxing. They became too greedy. And so now we're having to pick up the pieces and rebuild. That's where we are now, guys. We're having to rebuild the sport.
I tell you what would be an interesting experiment if you could do it. You know, if you could shuffle everything up, right? Let's just say you've got Showtime, PBC, yeah. You've got DAZN, you've got ESPN, and you've got say you've got ESPN and Top Rank. You've got Showtime and PBC. You've got Golden Boy DAZN, and you've got, I don't know, Pro Bellum, yeah.
Yep.
And you just give Pro Bellum the whole IBF. You give DAZN the WBC. You give Showtime PBC the WBA, and you give
the thing is though, Sean, that's kind of happening now.
No, yeah.
No, but you just that's it. Like that's just how it is, and the fighters have to choose at that moment where they go. Quite simple. And they fight there, and that's the stable. And whichever one comes out on top and whichever one has the fights, that's where it goes.
Well,
and then when they get to the top and they have that belt, then you do cross promotion.
Well, here's and you've got a great point. And once again, where are you going to stage that cross promotion? So once again, guys, there is no problem, right? There is no problem unless you can identify a solution, right? I mean, really, let's think about it logically. There is really no problem unless you can come up with a solution. So here's the solution. Netflix, right now, they still have over 200 million subscribers worldwide and are looking for original content. So why not have the Super Bowl of boxing on Netflix, in which you see the best of all promotional platforms meet and converge with one super event?
Okay.
And square off once a year.
Okay, but let's say reality wise,
why wouldn't that be reality wise?
Well, because which part of the demographic is actually, you'd have to look at their documentaries, their sports, how much they're actually, because Amazon's doing a lot more sports than Netflix, right?
Yeah, but Amazon, when you look at how much they're willing to pay in terms of licensing
fee, it's
not even scratching the surface.
No, of course, because a lot of the people that tune into Amazon Prime come with the Amazon shopping network, right? So that's how they get. You get the shopping network. You pay for that. You get Amazon Prime for free, right? But they're going more into sports. They have the racing on there. They have the NASCAR on there. They have the soccer on there. They get American football. They do the behind the scenes. They're doing as much as they can to spread their wings. But like you said, they're not paying the same. Now Netflix will quite happily put 150 million down for a movie, only based upon subscribers, right? How much would they put down for the boxing on a one night only?
And that's a very excellent question. Think about this. How much were they willing to pay Martin Scorsese to produce and have distribution rights for the Irishman?
The Irishman. What was it, 100 million?
Yep, 100 million.
Yeah. Right, so 100 million. How many top-level fighters could you put on a card for 100 million?
Woo. That's what I'm saying, guys. The matchup. Look. And once again,
Errol Spence, Bud Crawford, right?
Okay.
What would you give them? 10 mil each?
What would I give them? Fuck no, I'd give them $5 million apiece, what they deserve right now.
You think they'd do that?
No, I don't think they'd do that, and they're not doing that now. But that's what they deserve.
No, I'm saying,
because when you think about this, I'm sorry. Well, here's how you do it. Once again, you bill it and you sell it as the Super Bowl of boxing. That this is a global product. This is not something that you have to combine to the USA or UK. This is something that's going to attract global, right?
Yeah.
Global participants. Hold on. My internet, for some reason, is acting up. At least that's what it's telling me. Can you guys hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So when you consider how much that was spent on one movie, now consider Dave Chappelle, right? He was paid to do his series of 4 original concerts, right?
Yep.
$20 million per concert, and he did 4 within 2 years. That's $80 million.
Of course.
So once again, how much would Netflix be willing to pay for original content? And once again, they're looking for original content right now. Okay,
I know, but
hey, Cosmic, come back, brother. I just saw you in the queue, man. I'm getting
a couple of things. I'm just trying to, I'd love to see it and find a way to actually make it happen. But the Netflix whole principle is that to generate new subscribers, they need new content, right? But they also need to keep the subscribers they already have, so they need fresh content.
That's it.
That people are going to want to watch multiple times.
That's right. Hold on, Sean. Introducing my brother Cosmic to the show. What's up, brother?
Hey, Cosmic.
What up?
What's going on?
First time here, long time listener.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, my friend.
Always see you in the chat, mate.
What do you think about the entire Super Bowl on Netflix of boxing solution? Do you think it's feasible?
It is, but one thing that I want to tell you guys, so if you're dealing with Amazon owns Twitch. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Twitch.
Yep.
A live streaming service, right? So if you have an Amazon Prime and a Twitch account, whatever, right? You can watch, like, if I was streaming on Twitch and you wanted to watch an Amazon movie with me, we could watch it together. You know what I'm saying? And you can be commenting and talking and doing all those things. So I think that would be a better feasible thing for live boxing, because it would be just like this, but it would be legal. We could be watching the match, the fight together. You know what I'm saying? Talking and having people in chat and things like that. That's something that Netflix doesn't have. Netflix doesn't have like a social like a social network kind of system. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, Cosmic. Hold on, brother. At this time, I want to welcome my brother Major Keep Boxing to the show, as well as my brother Frank. I'm sorry,
thank you.
Guys, hold on. As you were, Cosmic, keep going, brother, because I'm about to shoot this down.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying that it's okay. Yeah, you can shoot.
No. And here's why. And once again, what's the whole modus operandi right now that I actually suggested for the sport of boxing? We want to put this in front of as many subscribers as we can globally. And what's the biggest global platform right now in entertainment?
It would be Netflix. But,
that's right. So once again, that's the reason why. That's the reason why you're targeting Netflix. When you're looking at as many markets, as many countries as they've infiltrated, okay, that's a no-brainer for boxing, because this is a global sport, unlike the NFL, unlike the NBA or the MLB, a lot like soccer or football. This is a global product, guys.
Yeah, but how many of those global products? How many of the global people, though, are going to watch it?
So what DAZN is trying to do, that's what boxing would be doing with Netflix, right? Okay, so how many participants you're saying would be actually open to supporting our beloved boxing, right?
Because it would be live, or it would be catching it after the event, right?
That's right. Why wouldn't you actually allow the replays? Once again, how many times have you actually seen Corrales versus Castillo since it actually happened in 2005?
Like 3 times, I want to say.
Yeah, maybe twice.
Oh my gosh, dude! I've seen it probably about 20 times. And the 10th round exclusively, probably about 40.
If on YouTube, yeah, but
dude, come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
And once again, that's what we're talking about, YouTube. Because you can't replay it on Showtime.
How many views has that got?
So that's it. That's the key with selling the Netflix event. You've got unlimited replay now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's part of the library.
Yeah, because it keeps the eyes on your product. I understand exactly where Joe's coming from, because I've been trying to explain to a lot of people for a very long time that when it comes down to it, all they take in is the views of the United States, because we're in the United States. But the reason that these other platforms and people are successful, right? Why do you think that? Why do you think that a lot of these champions are just fighting people from overseas? Because they're popular overseas. They might not be popular here, but it's easy money for them with the network. They have to go ahead and lease, this to that particular network that only exists in that country and this country, and they're working out deals everywhere, and they're making money off of it. And so they're getting back end money that we don't see in America, but they're getting it. And that's why they're doing it, because otherwise they wouldn't make the amount of money that it would that they need to be able to sustain what they're doing.
So once again, you look at ESPN, you look at the current platforms of boxing, right, that support and pay for these sports, and they may be a little butthurt initially, but when you ask them, okay, and I'm sorry guys, I'm still sitting out on my porch. I've got all of my computer and my mic set up out here because it's such a beautiful evening in San Antonio. But when you ask them, okay, well, would you be willing to actually put forth the amount of money it would take for the licensing fee for the Super Bowl of boxing? Now think about, guys, when you're talking about the Super Bowl of boxing, what bouts would you include in this spectacular event that would encapsulate $100,000 or $100 million site fee is what we're talking about, right? The same as the Irishman. Right? What bouts would you include in that currently at this time?
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
I tell you what, this is interesting.
Tank Garcia, Spence Crawford.
We're going to start counterclockwise, right? We're going to start with my brother Frank, because you haven't spoken yet. Frank, you're first, and we're going to go counterclockwise, okay?
Okay. Just off the top of my head, Spence Crawford, Tank Garcia, and Tyson Joshua if he were to win.
Is that it? So I'm thinking
five bouts, dude. Okay,
I'm thinking 5 bouts, dude.
That's going to take 100 mil to get those boys. I'll tell you now.
Well, I thought it was a Super Bowl of.
Yeah, you're looking at it. You're looking at it in terms of right now. But guys, quite honestly, and I can tell you with great certainty from insider information, that's the entire reason why Tyson Fury is not returning to boxing. Okay, he's already gotten as much money as he's going to get from these networks because pay-per-view is deader than dead. Okay, he's already made as much money as he's going to get from the antiquated pay-per-view model of boxing. With Dillian White versus Tyson Fury, with that being such a huge commercial bust, do you really think he's going to be able to demand $30 million in his next fight unless he fights Joshua?
Well, it will be Joshua, wouldn't it?
Well, if he loses, it more than likely will not be Joshua. No one will give a shit, and he won't be able to demand that kind of money if he loses. The only way this goes off is if he wins. And that's a tall order. So once again, here's the reason why Tyson Fury, and once again, my brother, Javen Sugar Hill Stewart, filled me in on all of this. Okay? He says, look, there's just no money anymore. Okay, he makes better money if he fights Thor in the Middle East.
Fucking embarrassing.
But guess what? It's still bigger dollars than if he were to fight Alexander Usyk in America.
Half the Thor's face is already frozen. He's going to get his other half smashed up. Like, it's embarrassing. You can't take on the heavy.
I have fights for that $100 million budget when it's my turn.
That's 10 million each, right?
Yep. And well, once again, it all depends on what their arrangement is, and we don't know that yet. Now I'll find out within the next couple of weeks. Okay, but Frank, come up with 5 bouts, please. Okay, then we're moving on to Major Key Boxing. Major Key Boxing, give me 5 bouts that you would include in the Super Bowl of boxing on Netflix.
On Netflix. Okay, so no promotional company. I'm sorry, I jumped in for the thumbnail, which was Rahman Jr. versus Jay Paul. But so your question is 5 bouts, like not regarding promoters or networks, just 5 fights?
No, just 5 fights, your dream matchups, your mythical matchups of today. Now, once again, they have to consist of active fighters that are ranked today. What are your 5 favorite matchups that you would include in the Super Bowl of boxing?
So active fighters. So I'm going to say I would like to see, obviously, the one that everybody would like to see, Crawford versus Spence, right? I would like to see that. I would like to see Jamal versus Andre, right? I would like to see. I'm not going to include Tyson Fury because he said that he's retiring, so I'm going to leave the heavyweight division alone. I would like to see Tank Davis versus I can't even say Ryan Garcia. I probably want to see him versus Devin Haney, to be honest with you. I know that the hype is around Ryan Garcia, but I would like to see that. How many is that? 3 or 4?
That's all right. That's 3.
That's 3. Okay, so I would like to see at 1. No, I would like to see Virgil Ortiz and Boo Tennis. I just don't want to see it before Terrence Crawford versus Spence, because I think it's unfair to them. I think that they deserve to get their money too. So I don't want to see it before the people that were supposed to fight. And then I would like to probably see that Chocolatito Estrada rematch. That's probably my
So let me ask you something. You didn't even bother mentioning Bivol versus Beterbiev.
That was mine.
No.
Okay, then let me just shut up then, and let's Major Key. Thank you, brother.
That was pretty much exactly the same. I'd take Chocolatito Estrada, and I'd put Bivol Beterbiev.
Okay, so there it is.
Andre Jamal.
Okay.
Andre and Jamal.
Okay.
Terrence and Spence.
Okay.
Would I go with? I think I'd go with Tank. I think I'd go with Tank Haney.
Tank Haney.
Bivol Beterbiev.
Number 1, number 5.
And then Canelo Benavidez.
Canelo Benavidez. Hell yes! I was waiting for that. I'm like, you guys haven't even included the biggest star of the sport, Canelo Alvarez. How could you guys forget about Canelo Benavidez?
Joe, I'd like to see that, but I've interviewed Benavidez twice, and Benavidez said himself Benavidez himself said that he's waiting, like he feels like he needs to improve before he fights him. That's why I didn't bring that up. I would like to see it though, but
you know what, brother? Given the opportunity, he's going to jump at it anyway. He doesn't care. Look, like David is fearless, man, and you know this if you've interviewed him.
Of course. Definitely. No. He definitely does not care. He'll jump in the ring with him.
That's right. But if you ask him
honestly, he feels like he just needs a little bit more preparation.
Yeah, in a perfect scenario. Okay, and understand it, and this is a credit to David Benavidez, understanding the reality of the situation. Okay, understanding that Canelo is one of the best counterpunchers in boxing, has some of the best reflexes in boxing. If you give him that many opportunities to score or counter effectively, you're in trouble if you let your hands go as much as David Benavidez at this time. That's a very difficult assignment, right? Credit to David, man.
He needs to stop fighting the Lemieux and things like that because he'll pick up bad habits.
That's it. So, Major Key, in the interim, while Canelo's still doing this, where do you see Benavidez actually? Who do you see him fighting next?
Look, man, you know what? Honestly speaking, since he's coming up, man, why not scrap with he's already called out Andre and Charlo. They don't want to move up. So why not scrap a Plant? But he doesn't seem to be answering his calls either. but also like no, seriously, or what's his name, Morrell. Why not?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but he's got options. But the thing is that they're not answering his call. That's the whole problem because he called all of them out on my channel, bro. He called all of them out. I had to stay quiet because I'm like, how can I ask him a follow-up question when he's freaking like going nuts right now? I had to be the content creator and just stay quiet and let him just freaking rant because he was letting it all out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is great content. Let me just stay quiet. You know, like, you know, for real, he literally feels passionate about this.
Here's the reason for me, and this is why and once again, one of the reasons for this exercise right now is to point out to you guys why networks and promoters are no longer considering what you guys think.
Yeah.
Okay, how many mainstream accounts, how many ticket sellers did you guys include in any of your matchups?
Now, bear in mind, I haven't gone yet.
Okay, so who's this? Who's it? Boxing Source. Come on, brother. Chime in, my friend. Boxing Source. Give me your 5 matchups. And once again, I'm sorry, I let the cat out of the bag. The reason why I was actually including this, right? Okay, so now knowing that, what's your 5 bouts that you would include in the Super Bowl of boxing on Netflix?
Okay, you said the Super Bowl of boxing on Netflix.
Yep.
And you said $100 million for the
in
budget.
the guaranteed purse, divided 20 million both ways, so that's 10 million per fighter. Right?
I'm not even gonna do 10 million per fighter. I'm just gonna go by 100 million total. And I'll preface this by saying,
very good.
You'll be shocked, I guess, but I did not include Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan in this 5-fight card. Now,
okay.
All right, let's go. Now, the first fight in this 5-fight card will include Cool Boy Stephen Fulton against the monster Naoya Inoue. Okay. Second fight, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Okay. And this is like with the proverbial purses going up each time.
Don't worry about that, my friend. Just go ahead and spill out the matchups.
Yep. The third fight is David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant.
Oh shit! Thought you were going to say Canelo.
Oh no! That's why I prefaced it.
All right, let's hear it, man. That's number 3. You got 2 more, brother.
The co-feature bout would be Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford, and the main event will be in heavyweight division, Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder.
Hell yes! Hell yes! So guys, here's the reason why promoters and networks are no longer including what you think. Because most of those matchups that you guys stated were inclusive of non-ticket sellers, right? And non-mainstream attractions. But these are great fights, right? These are great matchups in accordance to the diehard boxing community. But outside of our little bubble, they don't even move the needle. That's the problem.
Joe, when you had asked me that, I was like, boxing is a niche sport. That just hit me today.
Yep.
It's such a niche sport. Again,
we get our brother. Okay, our brother Juice. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for sticking around with us for the entire 2-hour program.
That's a great fight. He says
Cool Boy Steph versus Naoya Inoue is a big time.
That's what I was going to say.
Fight.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's only one ticket seller and one mainstream.
Better be a Vivo
in this equation. Guys,
better be a Vivo. Jesus.
Guys, Cool Boy Steph couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night.
But
you tell no lies, Joe.
But you know
that's sad though, you know.
Cool Boy Steph would have no issues going over to Japan for that fight.
Oh, and I tell you what, if
he might have issues when he's coming back, though.
so I tell you what, Source, if he were to do that, that's a huge event in Japan. That's
massive.
That's a 40,000 seller, right? That's
Be
a
weird for Cool Boy, though.
Seller, right? In Japan, though. So once again, rule of thumb, guys, in boxing, okay? Matchups are regional. If you don't put together the matchups in their attractive venue, then you might as well not put it together at all. Because think about this. Tyson Fury versus Dillian White. Was there any question where that was going to be held?
None.
Because there was only one logical place to put that fight.
That's right.
That was a UK bout. Okay, that's the way boxing is, period. You put it where it makes the most sense logistically. Right?
Hey, Joe, I got to jump off, man, but I wanted to ask you, so what was the assessment with the Rockman Jr. Situation? Just because I wanted to chime in on that.
Well, yeah, you want to go ahead and speak your piece, my friend. The floor is yours, Major Key.
All right, so I feel like a lot of people, whether you blame Rockman Jr. or Jake Paul, the fact of the matter is that they both try to get one over on each other. Okay, there was some sparring that happened. I spoke with an individual that witnessed that. All I'm going to say is that the fact that Sean Porter was able to predict some things, other people were able to predict some things weeks in advance, is because they already knew. The reason that you had somebody in a Rockman Jr., which we've interviewed, and the fact that he only lost 1 pound in 3 weeks and he was doing a bunch of interviews. Why do you think that is? It's because they weren't planning to get down to that weight limit. They thought they were going to be able to wrestle last minute for that position and have it be negotiated to not lose the bag. But what they did in turn, they lost that bag and lost his relevance in like for future bags on top of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's coming from somebody that hey, I love the Rockmans. You know what I'm saying? I love Rockman. You know, he's a cool dude. Interviewed him, but I'm telling you the facts. Like, when it comes down to it, it looks like a negotiation gone bad. They didn't do it the right way, and what happened was, now he didn't just lose this bag, but what's the chances of him getting a bag like that in the future? Because it's not like Jake Paul was going to be an assessment of his skills, but it would have been a popularity thing, a boost in his popularity to where he would have gotten a little bit of relevance and been able to fight B to C class fighters and still been relevant. Because when he gets to that position where he's fighting the top notch heavyweights, he's not going to be really a contender. He's not going to be that competitive with them.
That's right.
Yep, so that's right. That's the fact of the matter. When we look at everything in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Well, Major Key, thank you so much for
my pleasure, brother.
For actually laying it out for us, brother, and very, very insightful stuff. And brother, where can we find you, my friend?
Oh, you already know Major Key Boxing. Man, I haven't been live, man. I had my kids over here the whole damn summer. They got to go back to school next week and others. So I'm gonna start going live again. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm about to start going live again sometime this week. They just left yesterday. So I'm gonna be going sometime. Major Key Boxing on YouTube, Major Key Boxing on Facebook, Major Key Boxing on Instagram, and if you need to email me, majorkeyboxing@gmail. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you have so a great night, man. I appreciate God bless you, Joe. Brother. You have an excellent evening, my friend.
Too. Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, my friend. And I tell you what, once again, guys, always support our brethren within the YouTube boxing community. But I'm going to tell you this, right? This is why I could never understand why this was even a discussion. Who's to blame? Guys, Hasim Rahman was lucky to be given this opportunity. He's not a ticket seller. He's not an attraction. Okay? After this, what is he going to do?
He's not even a has-been. He never was.
He's going to make me breakfast at the Waffle House.
I'm telling you straight.
Come on, guys.
He's ranked 220.
So this is what was laughable about this, and I was almost embarrassed for Hasim, right? He was talking about this with Fight Hype, right, or with Dan Canovio, one of those guys, right? Yeah. And his girl came on and said, "Oh man, they were actually offering Tyson or Tommy Fury $2 million, and they were only giving us $250,000. Oh, that's a slap in the face. That's a spit. They might as well just spit on us. And I'm like, well, there's a reason for that, girl.
And you accepted it.
And why?
So shut up.
Because you're not a ticket seller. Like, you're lucky to be in this scenario.
Yeah. You never seen that type of money. What are you talking about?
That's right. And it's like, guys, understand this is the entertainment industry. Jake Paul is the A side. And in this scenario, the overwhelming A side. He's the ticket seller. He's the attraction. You're not even in this discussion normally.
It's just ridiculous. I feel sorry for Serrano. That's all I feel sorry for.
I feel sorry for Amanda Serrano as well. Ooh. She's a class act. I'm sorry. Who was that?
I'm kind of torn on that.
Oh, well, please enlighten us, brother. Well, hold on, guys. Hold on. Before we move forward, we're at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
So please indulge me, guys, if I actually give a shout out to our big sponsor for the September 10th event, TMB Promotions at Port Tech Arena in San Antonio, Texas. Guys, we'll be back in 45 seconds.
With over 20 years of experience, Halftime Pizza is serving true, authentic, hand-tossed pizza with the freshest ingredients, offering online ordering for takeout or delivery. Better yet, experience our family-friendly spot for sports, wall-to-wall TVs, and surround sound. Not a bad seat in the house, serving both lunch and dinner. You're sure to find something for everybody's taste. A great selection of your domestic beers and some unique craft drafts. From cold beer, crisp salads, our famous pizza rolls to pizza and wings. We have it all. Halftime Pizza, with 2 locations to serve you. 7126 Tesla Road and 7531 Bandera Road. Anytime is a great time for Halftime Pizza.
Guys, we'd like to thank Dave Garcia and Halftime Pizza for being an official sponsor of TMB Promotions. September 10th at the Techport Arena, going to be televised worldwide on Boxing TV. Guys,
hungry now.
I'd like to thank and welcome my brother Young Bill.
He woke up. YB's awake.
Welcome back.
Man, this guy talking about $250,000 is a slap in the face. I mean, his girl, man, I guarantee you that was his highest payday, this geezer. Why did you take the fight and agree to lose all that weight if it wasn't your highest payday? This guy, man, he's coming off a knockout loss, Joe.
Yep, that's it. That's it, guys. Look. And look, when you consider Young Bill, and I hope you can improve your connection, because right now you sound like you're talking through a megaphone. But I will say this, though. When you consider Young Bill, all the hard-working, fighters that are going to be competing on these 2 cards that we're going to be a part of. Okay, when you think about how much they're going to be making, some of them 4-rounders are only going to be making $250 per round. Okay, it's insulting to say that it's a slap in the face. Okay? Like, seriously, how much do you think you're fucking worth? Pardon my French, guys.
The fact that he's been around on every fucking show all week getting interviews is embarrassing. To the people that are holding those interviews for clicks. It's embarrassing.
Can y'all hear me,
guys? We can hear you perfectly now, Young Bill. Thank you, sir.
Oh yeah, man, he's a clown, and he's coming off a knockout loss. He does himself
terrible.
He's not. He's not even a major prospect. He's. I mean, what is he? What fan base does he have?
None.
That's it. And so the fact that he's getting all this ink is ultimately bad for the sport of boxing. And I will say this, the fact that all of these YouTube boxing channels are talking about this, is embarrassing. Yep. It's embarrassing to the diehard boxing community. And that's why, guys, I titled this event, What's with the Jake Paul Nonsense?
We got Virgil Ortiz, Michael McKinson. No one's talking about it.
That's it,
right,
guys. That's it. This is embarrassing. This is an insult to our intelligence.
But Joe,
go ahead, sir.
But Joe, all these boxers are calling him out now, so it gives him credence.
You got Virgil Ortiz
it's
versus
desperation
Michael
and embarrassing. Look, the
Keith
fact
Thurman
that
just called him out.
Hold on. The fact that you've got Keith Thurman chiming in on this is embarrassing.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's very embarrassing. Wait a minute.
Listen.
Source, go me hold on, guys. Source, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay. So you mean, well, real quick. You mean to tell me that Keith Thurman is out there calling out Jake Paul when not even talking about a fight that's in the welterweight division for the mandatory position for the WBA welterweight title? That's number one. Number two, you have a co-feature bout in there with Blair, the Flair Cobbs against Maurice Hooker. That's within the 140-pound division, where you got
that's
Maurice
a great
Hooker,
matchup.
that's a former world champion, and Blair the Flair Cobbs.
Yeah, I like Blair.
Was having a lot of momentum until his last fight, where he pretty much got beat up and beat down.
Yeah,
but it's still a crossroads fight there for Blair Cobbs and Maurice Hooker, and all these people are talking about is Jake Paul versus Hasim Rahman.
It's embarrassing, guys. It's embarrassing, and honestly, I'm embarrassed at the diehard boxing community on YouTube. I'm embarrassed.
They're not
like honestly, it's embarrassing. That was the whole purpose of actually staging the show and putting that title on it, guys. I thought you were smarter than this, and not everyone in this panel, but everyone on YouTube.
They're not diehard.
What the hell are you going on about as far as who's to blame? Who gives a shit?
If we're not arguing,
it's part of the pop culture. It's part of clicks. It's part of getting
bullshit.
Promotion and attention. It's
Bullshit.
different when you're like I say, a boxing reporter, where you do see if you could apply for credentials for events like that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and boxing Source. I'll tell you this, Source. I'll tell you this, brother. Okay. Once again, back in the day, back when I first started in this industry, you didn't write to get credentialed. You wrote because that's what you felt.
Right.
Okay. Somehow things have changed. Like now you have to write to get credentialed, and that's not right.
And not only that,
because with the technology, okay, they're streaming every press conference. They're streaming the weigh-in. We can actually see the event on our subscription, right? Either to Showtime, ESPN, or DAZN. Why the hell do you need to go see it live? Okay, so that's not why you go. This should be a bonus because of the work you do. Okay, you should be rewarded for a credential because of your work, right? Like this should be a bonus. You shouldn't tailor your work because of you want to get credentialed. Okay, that's wrong. That's the other way around. It wasn't that way when I first entered this business. Okay?
Listen, Source, I'll say something, right? What you just said. The YouTube guys that are doing stuff for clickbait, that are putting out random little 1-minute videos all over the place with titles where nothing in that video has got anything to do with the title, are the ones who are getting press passes to go there.
That's pretty much what's been happening.
You know what, Source? And I'll say this.
So they think they're actually real journalists when they're not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, Source, I'll tell you this. You do great work, man, and you ask very intelligent questions at the press conferences. Okay, you're a very good representation of the boxing community. Okay, I can't say the same thing for everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay, they're basically the guys who are getting credentialed right now are fans with cameras. That's it.
Yeah,
that's why they
fans with cameras, and it's embarrassing.
But the thing about it is that they're coming at it, and it's almost like, I wouldn't say fan, but like a super fan type of thing. But the thing about it is like, you, me, a lot of the people here within this panel, we come up in the sport of boxing, and we've seen all the stuff, all the events that have gone on in boxing since the 1980s, been historians to look at what's been happening in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s, 30s, and on. But we also looked at those that covered the sport of boxing, those that were actual journalists, those that wrote in the newspapers, those that put out those articles. There are like a couple of guys that I know that, still do write-ups and do articles like that, whether it's online or in print. And it's like the more and more that these events are going on, the less and less that I see those type of people on there, with the exception of those that are actually part of large corporations or large, networks like an ESPN, like a CBS Sports or something like that. Outside of that, you really don't see that many quote unquote independent journalists that come in and be able to actually cover the sport.
Well, I will say
now,
this then, Source. Credit to the promoters then for actually making an effort to actually understand who's who, right? But I will say this though. Something has to change, guys.
Yep.
Look, there's a lot to be said for the written word.
For sure.
Why the hell aren't more boxing scribes, right? Why aren't they more willing to actually write about the events?
Here's the reason. I'm going to say this. Here's the reason. Hey, they rather get clicks than do the actual research, Joe. That's why.
Okay, well, hold on, Anthony. And once again, you raise a very valid point, and that's the reality of it. But when someone actually cites, right? Okay, well, I've got this, right? I've got this as proof to support my argument. Okay, when two diehards are going at it, right? Two insane diehards are going at it in some heated conversation that amounts to nothing. Okay, what do they always cite as evidence? Something written that they click on. If it's written and if it's in ink, well, then it has to be a lot more legit than someone that just posted on YouTube. Right?
Joe, I just did that with the Pacquiao Mayweather thing.
What, the IV thing?
Joe, and
it wasn't an IV thing. Pacquiao agreed to a lot of things.
Yeah,
Joe,
no.
I'm gonna bring up a guy who used to be, who is focused on clicks now, but wasn't like that before when he first got into the boxing game, like doing reporting. Dan Raphael.
Oh, I knew it. I knew you were
okay. Well, look.
Listen.
Look.
Oh,
There's a
man.
reason why Dan Raphael, is no longer with ESPN and is having to actually resort to clicks at this stage of his career. And I feel bad for him. But look, guys, instant karma is going to get you. Look, there's a reason why Dan Raphael is having to make it on his own steam now, because he was an asshole when he was at ESPN. And I'm living testament to that.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'll say that right now. Like, dude, there are so many cards that I was trying to actually interview someone, and he would step right in front of me without regard for anyone behind him.
Anyone else.
Right?
That's right.
He was a prick, and no one liked him. That's why he's been shut out from the boxing business.
Wow, Source.
Yep.
That's the reality, guys.
You got to treat people the right way.
And even with that, there are times, even at this particular state, where he could still be in the front or pushing in the front when it comes to either being at press conferences or in conference calls and things like that. And, there's like a couple of other people that are like that as well, that are quote unquote well established, but you pretty much get the same thing out of them that you would get from some of those YouTube people that y'all bring up.
Yeah, click.
And my thing is that I don't, like, for example, I don't want to talk about something that doesn't directly involve the event itself.
Exactly.
So when like, for example, of course, we talked about the whole thing with Spence and Crawford, right? Like, I'm not going to talk about that if you're fighting somebody else.
Obviously.
Yep.
I'm not going to talk about Spence when you're fighting Sean Porter. I'm not going to talk about Spence when you fought Sean Porter. I'm not going to do that. So
that makes you a real reporter.
In the press conference talking about that? You just had a great fight that took place in Mandalay Bay,
and you're talking about something that you don't even know is going to happen or not. That was the thing that frustrated me when I was sitting there and Terrence Crawford was on the podium. Was that you had 2 or 3 questions of, what about this thing with Errol Spence? Errol Spence was in attendance for his fight tonight. What comments do you have? I'm like, yo,
source, it's laughable. It's painstaking.
It's ridiculous.
And look, I've been exactly where you were, right? I've been exactly where you were. And it's cringeworthy.
It's terrible. Imagine
these so-called media members, it's like it's cringeworthy to think that you're right there in the same category as they are.
Right.
I tell you what it is. It's like a beautiful woman being on stage, and there's a load of virgins standing there, and they all get to ask a question, and they ask a question about what she'd like her future boyfriend to look like. And it's like, why are you asking a question to her right now to get it? No, but I want to know about this. It's ridiculous. And they all do it. Like Canelo looks like he's going to punch some of them.
Guys. It's very hard to fault these guys. I mean, as ridiculous as it may seem, it's very hard to fault these guys because that's the way internet media has become.
Joe,
it's all generated around clicks.
Fuck them.
Joe, if you remember,
like I told you the last time we were on the air, Sean, about articles. And it's like editors want you to write something that's going to generate clicks.
Yeah, fuck them as well. Like they're ruining everything.
Hey, Joe, whatever happened? Max used to be a good boxing commentator.
Okay, so what is he doing now? He's commentating on UFC fights. And why? Because once again, per ESPN, that's what's going to generate the most clicks.
Yeah,
they've got the deal with him as well. So he's, know what I mean? Like,
that's it, guys. So once again, that's going to be it. But guys, parting shots for all. Let's start counterclockwise. Let's go to my brother, Young Bill. Young Bill, do you have any parting shots or anything that you'd like to ask or air on the air?
Hey, God bless to everybody, man. And hey, is Coach Ronnie's show on tomorrow?
Coach Ronnie's show is on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central.
Big old.
Absolutely. Okay.
Hey, well, hold on, guys. First of all, let me give a shout out to my brother, Young Bill. He did such a tremendous job last week when I was in the hospital, right?
Smashed it.
Okay, he killed it on his channel. Right. And he handled it being the host without anyone else co-hosting the show.
YG.
Like, I don't know if you guys realize how difficult that is, but guys, that's extremely like my job is really easy every Tuesday because I've got the benefit of not only having world-class trainer Ronnie Shields, but also having a brilliant co-host like Young Bill with me, right? But to do it yourself, that's really hard. And Young Bill knocked it out of the park last week. And guys, the show's still up on his channel. So guys, go please visit Young Billy Boxing. And you know what? Thank you, Young Bill, for filling in for me last week, rather.
And guess what, Joe? We're getting my boy Shoo Carrington.
Oh, I love it, Carrington.
Nice.
So look out for that, guys. And on Thursday, Thursday at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Central Time. So check that out, man. Shoo's in the building. He's in training for that on the Shakur undercard. So be on the lookout for that as well. And man.
Bill, are you doing an interview with Virgil?
Nah, I tried to get him, man, but I'm not credentialed for this. I'm not credentialed for this Virgil Ortiz fight coming up in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I wanted to ask Verge. Since I'm a fan of Verge, I wanted to ask him a few questions and stuff like that.
Well, Anthony, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience, sir? And once again, Young Bill, thank you for doing what you do, my friend.
Yeah,
thank you for being a mentor, Joe.
God bless you, brother. Anthony, your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
Yeah, my parting shot is something that I was I put in the back chat. I think Coolboy Steph should move up to 126 and fight Navarrete. That's the fight you should make. Navarrete versus Coolboy Steph.
Let me tell you, brother, he's in no hurry to do that, my friend. But I tell you what, in a perfect world, that's a great thought. But I tell you what, Anthony, thank you for gracing us with your presence, my friend. Frank, your parting shots for tonight's listening audience.
Hey, man, thank you, Joe, having me on. The first thing, and I think I said it to you, was that I never took Jake Paul seriously. I sent you the clip. He was still going to get ranked. Yep. I said it first before anybody, and people laughed at me. But I never took him seriously. I don't think we should take him seriously. And we got real boxing coming up with Virgil Ortiz, who I think will be a major player this time next year, should have a belt.
And there it is. Frank. Thank you so much for being a part of the
Thank
program.
You, Joe.
Sean, your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
I just want to say, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and to bring this sport back. I know we get involved with our favorite fighters and we argue, we go back and forth. But if we can start putting that aside and start enjoying the beautiful, sweet science and all of the great fights that we are being given, and start finding the goodness in the sport again, we can bring it back.
And there it is. Sean, you're a credit to the boxing community, brother. Thank you so much for always bringing your insight and your wisdom and your experience. Now, once again, Sean, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Weren't you a writer, or did you used to cover the sport of boxing?
No, I've been a boxer since I was young.
There it is. Yep.
Been a fighter for ABA. Went nearly national in the Dunstan County. Went nearly national in the UK. I'm now in Mexico City. I've been lucky enough to train with a lot of UFC fighters out here. Rashad Evans, Nico Price, Yair Rodriguez, Marco Beltran. Training in the Henzo Gracie gym. I went from there. I'm now boxing. I'm training in White Collar Boxing Gym in Mexico City with Jorge Lasavera, old babyface. Get a lot of WBC stuff going through there, but I've been fighting most of my life. Love the sport of boxing. It means a lot to me. It's boxing itself has saved my life a few times. So it means a lot to me.
And there it is, brother, and it shows, Sean. Thank you so much for all of your expertise, man, and all of your experience. It always makes for great listening, brother. Thank you, Sean.
Appreciate it, Joseph. You take care of yourself, and Source, you take care too, buddy.
God bless you, brother. So, Source, your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
Oh man, you said parting shots, man. I might have a few of them, but first, I definitely want to get this through. I definitely want to see if you could give me the flyer for that particular event in September, so I can spread the word for that.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that, brother.
I know a number of people over there in the Texas area, particularly in San Antonio, that would be definitely interested in going to that particular event. So do want to get that out of the way. Second, we definitely went through a lot when it comes to the business of boxing, and hopefully those that have watched this particular episode kind of like have a better understanding of how things work when it comes to promotion, marketing, advertising, booking fighters, booking venues, and things like that. How difficult it is to try to get all of that to come together, whether it's an event in Madison Square Garden or something that could be in a basketball gym in a high school at a small city in like say freaking North Dakota, So hopefully people have a better understanding of that. Second thing is that, we talk about, the upcoming fight there with Virgil Ortiz and Michael McKinson, that particular card. That's going to be something that, people will focus on, actual fights that are actually going to happen. Okay. So there's that. The other thing for me is, I don't think we really touched on it that much. It was on, my particular podcast yesterday, which I thank Joseph for coming on for and kind of like this, discussing that at length.
It's my pleasure, brother.
Is that, people have to understand that when there's a big fight that is trying to commence, that all parties do have to, figure things out, try to make things work and try to make things happen. But if there's one particular party that doesn't cooperate, then people have to understand that that particular party does not want to cooperate.
And for me, I'm kind of like fought, quote unquote, the good fight, so to speak, when it comes to Brother Joseph Heron, because it seems like fans of a certain person aren't necessarily buying what we're saying. And it's crazy to me. And it's crazy to me because they've seen what has happened recently over the past 6 months or so when it comes to that particular person and the actions taken by that particular person. And when you see a pattern, then you got to go by that pattern. And so for me, it doesn't surprise me one bit because of what he's done. But when people don't understand that, and when people don't, and the thing that bothers me is that they don't take you seriously. When you've been in the game longer than I have, when you've known a lot more people in the game than I have by far, and they don't take you seriously, then that's a problem for me. Because then they won't take me seriously as much as I've done in the sport. And as much as I've done for people to try to get in the sport when it comes to covering the sport the way that it should be. But like has been said in this particular episode, we got way too many people that are quote unquote super fans that want to do things for clicks, that want to do things for clout, they want to do things for controversy. And I don't play that. So when you have someone like Joseph Heron that's been in the game as long as he has, that's been through different avenues in the sport of boxing, you have to give him his respect. And if you don't, then that's a problem for me. And I'll put it like that.
God bless you, Boxing Source. Thank you so much for the respect, man. And thank you so much for all of your words and your insights. And keep grinding, brother. Once again, if you guys haven't subscribed to Boxing Source, please go do so at this time. But yeah, that's a huge problem within the YouTube boxing community. Too many cooks spoil the soup, right? Especially ones who don't know how to cook, right? And that's the problem, guys. That's the problem, guys. Understand the real from the wannabes. And that's it. But, guys, I tell you what, Boxing Source, it's always a pleasure to chop it up with you guys. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. We've been on the air for 2.5 hours. And, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's our passion, and this is why we do what we do. So, guys, on behalf of Boxing Source, as well as everyone who's joined us this evening, I'm Joseph Heron. Guys, you've been listening to WAWR Week Radio. Have a wonderful Monday evening, everybody.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows